Today, we're diving into a shocking story from 1966, and it reveals one of the most profound and honestly unsettling truths about the human brain, how a tiny growth, just a tumor, can physically change who we are. It all starts with a really chilling note, left behind by a killer.
These are the actual words from a suicide note left by a man named Charles Whitman. He knew something was deeply, deeply wrong inside his own head, but he couldn't control it. This note, it's the key to an absolutely terrible mystery. It tells us that the man behind a horrific act might have also been its very first victim.
So, picture this. It's August 1st, 1966, a pretty normal summer day on the University of Texas campus. You've got students, staff, people just walking around, enjoying the sunshine. They have absolutely no idea that they're about to become the center of a national tragedy.
Just before noon, Whitman, who is an ex-Navy officer and engineering student, makes his way to the top of the university's main clock tower. And for the next 96 minutes, he just terrorizes the entire campus from that perch. The chaos only ended when police were finally able to get up to his position and stop him. From that tower, Whitman killed 14 people. He wounded 31 more. But the horror of that day, it had actually started even earlier. Investigators would soon find out that he had already murdered his own wife and his mother that very morning.
So this was the question that just baffled everyone. Whitman was described as smart, healthy. There was nothing in his past that could explain such a sudden, violent, and complete transformation. The answer, as it turned out, wasn't in his life story. It was buried deep inside his brain. And following the request from Whitman's own note, a neuropathologist named Dr. Coleman examined his brain during the autopsy. And there, he found it. A small tumor, a glioblastoma. It was the first physical clue that could possibly explain such an unimaginable act.
So, this tumor was pressing on a tiny, almond-shaped part of the brain called the amygdala. The best way to think about it is like your brain's emotional security guard. It's the part that handles fear, aggression, impulse control. The very thing that keeps our most extreme reactions in check.
Right, so doctors concluded that this tumor was putting direct pressure on Whitman's amygdala. That constant physical pressure was essentially short-circuiting his emotional controls. The uncontrollable thoughts he wrote about? They were likely a direct biological result of this growth literally hijacking his mind. It's a terrifying example of how a physical problem can turn into a behavioral catastrophe.
Okay, so Whitman's case shows how a tumor can completely warp our actions. But what about our senses? Can it change something as fundamental as our vision? Well, a much more recent case, with a much happier ending, gives us a fascinating answer.
Can you imagine telling your doctor this? A 60-year-old man comes into the office describing a phantom black cat that would just dart across his vision every time he was outside. He'd close his eyes, it was gone. He'd open them, the cat was back. It was a bizarre, super specific, and for him, a very real hallucination.
The doctor immediately suspected a brain tumor, and an MRI confirmed it, a meningioma, a large tumor growing right on the man's occipital lobe. Now that's the brain's visual processing center. The tumor was creating a blind spot, a visual defect that doctors sometimes call pie in the sky. And his brain, trying to make sense of this missing information, was basically filling in the blank with a running black cat.
So let's just compare these two stories side by side. It is a night and day difference. Back in 1966, Whitman had no access to things like CT scans or MRIs. His tumor was only discovered after the tragedy. But the modern patient? He had access to modern MRI technology. His tumor was diagnosed before it could cause irreparable harm. And that led not to tragedy, but to treatment.
And the best part? The treatment worked. After surgeons successfully removed the tumor, the patient opened his eyes and the phantom black cat was gone. For good. A timely diagnosis didn't just restore his sight, it stopped a biological time bomb before it could have who knows what other unpredictable effects.
The stories of Charles Whitman and the phantom cat are separated by decades of medical progress, but they both point to the same fundamental truth. A problem in the brain can change a mind, and finding that problem in time can change absolutely everything. It's such a powerful testament to the importance of medical diagnosis. And it leaves you wondering, doesn't it?
How many lives, past and present, have depended entirely on that delicate balance?